right, well, welcome back to the Inside Saginaw podcast. Hey everyone, before we get started, we wanted to let you know we experienced a few audio issues towards the end of this episode. We appreciate your patience and continued support. Thanks for listening, and we hope you enjoy this episode of the Inside Saginaw podcast. My name is Alina Davis. I am the communication specialist.
I'm Pedro. I'm the Director of Economic and Community Engagement.
And today we have a very special guest.
Very special.
Russell Ragsdale, Chief of Police for the City of Saginaw.
Yes, sir.
Well, Chief, thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I believe our last episode with the Chief, we brought a challenge up, and we're so very glad that you took on the challenge.
The fire chief.
Most certainly.
Yeah, and let's see. Okay, so I think we have to look at the views of how many the fire chief got, and we're going to compare this one. And it's a friendly rivalry.
Yeah. It's a competition now.
It's competition now.
He's a whole lot better looking than I am, so that's going to play into that.
Can you say who you are and what do you do for the city?
So I am the police chief. That responsibility is supervising everything that happens within the police department, personnel, everything that happens on the street, from arrest, calls for service, things of that nature. On a daily basis, I'm in the office doing paperwork, reviewing case law, reviewing court opinions and things of that nature to make sure that we stay in compliance with existing law that's out there and new laws that's being created. So it's kind of, in a nutshell, what I do.
Very nice.
Very nice. And how long have you been doing the chief gig?
So I've been chief for 4 years, been law enforcement for 36.
So how did you get into law enforcement, and then what was it like building up to becoming chief?
Getting into law enforcement was kind of felt more of a calling. My passion has always been to help people. And so, with that, there was a couple of avenues that you could go. You go with fire services, police services as well, both out in the public helping our fellow man. And that's kind of how I got started. Always wanted to make a difference. If I could make a difference in one person's life, I felt like that, I would have a successful career. And fortunately, over 36 years, I've had the opportunity to help a lot of people, and I've had a lot of people come back and thank me, for that help. So that's really the motivation, the pat on the back that you're looking for at the end of the day. So that's really what has driven that. Becoming the chief, when I first started, I would tell you that I had no interest in being a supervisor, definitely no interest in being a chief. But I had a chief years ago that there was a promotional opportunity coming up that I hadn't put in for. And so he gave me a simple challenge. He said, if you're not going to put in for it, then tell me who you want to work for. Did the promotional test, ended up coming out top notch on that, if you will. And that was every one of those positions. Promoted to sergeant first, then to lieutenant, then I came to Saginaw as a captain, then assistant chief and chiefs. The promotion to chief wasn't near as dramatic. Did a really good job, I assume, as an assistant chief that the city manager recognized. And so when our chief promoted up to assistant city manager, they just offered me that position. So.
And you came from another city, right? Before
Yes.
that?
Yes,
How
I came
many
from.
cities have you?
I've only worked for 2.
Okay.
So started in a city that's, I guess, to our south just a little bit. I'm going to leave them unnamed, but a city about twice the size of what Saginaw is now, and gained a lot of valuable experience there. Come here to an agency, to a community, really, that's much quieter than where I came from. When I say quiet, I mean less crime, less everything as far as the police department's concerned. So just a really good little farm community. It's continuing to grow, so it's more of a suburb now, but still a very quiet community compared to what my experience has been with another agency.
So as a chief, you are the leader of the police department. And does that come in mentoring new officers and moving them into training?
To some degree, yes. Mentorship at my level really involves assistant police chief and the lieutenants. Then the lieutenants and the sergeants would mentor those officers and supervisors that fall below them. So when you talk about mentorship, really with the assistant chief to make sure that he understands what we're doing when it comes to budget and things, which he's well versed in all of that now. He's been the assistant chief for 4 years. So I think he's ready to take on leadership of this organization once I decide it's time to move on to greener pastures. So hopefully that's still going to be a while.
So in terms of training and stuff like that, as chief, do you have ongoing training, or do you have to do stuff annually? What does that look like?
So every position in law enforcement has ongoing training. So TCOL is our regulating authority with the state. And so they set standards for training. The chief also has standards. So I have to have 40 hours of training every training cycle. So that's every 2 years, just like any officer does. My training looks different than theirs. Mine's going to be more leadership based, a lot to do with servant leadership, officer wellness, mental health, things of that nature that are the more prominent factors in law enforcement today than what they were in years past. So.
And kind of going off of that, we talked a little bit about your upbringing into the chief position. To become an officer and to kind of get up to the very top, what kind of education do you have to have? Or is it experience-based, stuff like that? Because I know we talked a little bit about
really, it's a little bit of both. So depending on the agency where you're at will regulate a lot of what the requirements are. Here, to be a chief, they do require a 4-year degree and advanced TCOL license. The TCOL license side of things is really based off tenure and training that you have. So if you keep doing all of your mandated training, then years of service, you'll advance in your TCOL licenses. So you start with just a open license, goes to basic, to intermediate, advanced, and then master. And so for the average guy with no college degree, it takes about 20 years to get your master's with the required training. If you have a degree, I think you can shorten that down to about 12 years. And then the bachelor's degree that they require here, I obtained a master's degree to make myself more marketable as a chief, if you will. It's, some agencies do require that, but here in Saginaw, we only require the bachelor's degree.
So, Chief, you've been doing this for 36 years. Out of all those years, what has been some of your favorite experiences as a police officer?
Favorite experiences, always the officers. Seeing their growth is one of the best experiences that I get to witness on a daily basis. You have a new officer come in, and as they grow in the profession, you actually see that, the level of professionalism and accountability that comes with that. As far as on the street side of things, as a street officer, the best job I ever had was as a sergeant, because you're not stuck with the mundane calls. You get to go to what we call the hot calls, the calls we want to go to, and if you're not assigned to one of those, then you can feel free to hunt. And when I say hunt, I'm talking about we're looking for bad guys doing bad things. And so you get the freedom to do that as a district officer, you might be tied up on call after call after call, some that are pretty mundane and others that are pretty important to handle, but you don't always get a choice in what you get to handle. So I'd say that's my experiences in law enforcement. As far as stories go, kind of hinted to that. So the best story that I normally tell, I was a young officer on the street in my prior agency on the second floor of an apartment complex that all the entries are on the outside, so more of a motel design than a hotel design. Dealing with a kid that has some felony warrants out for him. I knock on the door. He's sitting on the couch. He gives me a false name and sends me on my way. And I get about 3 or 4 yards away from the door, and I'm like, man, I know that's who that was. So I turn around, go back, knock on the door. He comes to the door. We step outside, and he finally admits that that's who he is. And he goes to jump over the handrail to the first floor, and I actually catch him by the collar. And so I'm actually holding him by the collar, and my partner is sitting there with just his mouth gaped open like, I can't believe you just did that. And I'm like, dude, you got to give me a hand. And so we get him back up and get him handcuffs. That was probably one of the funnest stories that I can tell as far as catching bad guys. It actually looks like it came from TV, when
No, it does sound like a TV episode.
It sounds like an action movie.
It doesn't normally happen. Normally things happen that you don't intend. So, but we're actually able to catch him and get him in custody. So that's one of the better stories that I have as far as just a good, clean story, in law enforcement.
You probably saved him from some sort of injury,
Yeah, you
too.
also did that, too.
I think he would have landed on his feet and kept going, but then I was going to have to chase him, and I didn't want to chase him.
Hey, you stopped that portion of it, which is good. So I know, with as much as this job, you guys are stopping the bad guys, essentially. There's a lot of compassion with it, too, when you come across different scenarios where you have to, kind of change the way you go about it.
I think every call has compassion involved in it. If you look at our mission statement, compassion's part of our mission statement as well. Try to see where people are coming from and what they're experiencing, because sometimes it's not always their fault. It's just life circumstances that happen. It could be family upbringing, things of that nature. But our job involves a lot of compassion for our fellow man. And when you talk about stop people, most of our contacts are through traffic. And the overall majority of traffic stops that we make are people trying to make a living, trying to get from point A to point B. They've not done anything wrong, at least not intentionally. And then the crime they're guilty of is going to be a traffic offense, a citable offense. And we write a large number of warnings. So I would say as far as enforcement strategy here, there are a lot of warnings. If we can get voluntary compliance, then we do that through warnings with traffic violations instead of citations. Not saying there's not a lot of citations written as well, but we really try to show some compassion and give people that benefit of the doubt when we can.
So every year, the police department has something called National Night Out. Can you talk a little bit about National Night Out and what that is?
Yeah, so National Night Out is really about getting communities involved with one another, neighbors involved with one another. So some of the original aspects of National Night Out was truly having a block party and all your neighbors getting together. It was your stance against crime. And so you turn your porch light on, meet with your neighbors get together, we get to know each other. So I know what cars are supposed to be in front of your house, not in front of your house, kind of what your work schedule is, things of that nature. And then neighbors watch out for one another. It's morphed into something much more than that. So now you have cities that do big parties at the park and stuff for National Night Out. It's not something that we do here. My philosophy on that's just a little bit different. I want people to stay in their communities. And so instead of coming to the park and having a big National Night Out event, I would rather them stay in their communities and get to know their neighbors. That's what it was meant to be. It was more of a neighborhood crime watch type event. And so that's where I think it needs to stay focused, because I think that's where it has the most impact.
So, Chief, when the Saginaw host is National Night Out?
So National Night Out typically is the first Tuesday in October. So this year, I think October the 6th will be when we host that. If you want to host an event for National Night Out, you can go to our website. You can find the form there to fill out, to sign up. Once you're signed up, we will have officers come to your event to visit. So we visit several events throughout the city on National Night Out, make our presence known, and just get to know the neighbors. Encourage them to get to know one another and answer any questions they might have. Community policing, yep. The person that you'll be dealing with most often with our organization could be our community outreach officer, which is Brandon Pappenthien. You may better know him as BPAP Breaks It Down. He's got quite the following that's going on. So.
He's kind of a local celebrity these days.
He is a local celebrity, so we're really proud of what he's been able to accomplish in his position.
So we actually had an event where people were recognizing him and taking pictures with him.
Taking selfies with him.
Yep. It's just a good community engagement piece for y'all to reach out to the community. So what was the vision behind that position?
So we've been trying to get there for a while. The agency that I worked for previously, I was over the community services unit there. We didn't have social media like we have today, but we had programs that especially in the summertime, put us in touch with kids in apartment complexes and in some of the motel type situations. More of the kids that are home by themselves, don't have parental guidance because they're all working and things of that nature. So we had what we called kid cops. And so we would go around to these establishments and engage kids in flag football, kickball, I mean, you name it. It was an effort for us to break down some of the barriers that we have with children, trusting the police and their parents. I mean, you treat their kids right, parents have a tendency to come around to trusting you as well. But it really gave us an opportunity to provide some leadership, self-discipline, self-confidence, tools of that nature to children that might not otherwise be able to experience that. So that's kind of where the concept came from. Social media is not my thing by any means, so I stay well away from it. But putting people in positions that are able to do that, I mean, they were really, Brandon's been able to really excel with that. And what he's been able to accomplish with y'all's help, I mean, it's been just phenomenal to see that grow. So.
No, it's been a great relationship building with interdepartmental.
Right.
I would say, though, y'all did set the bar very high because other departments have come to us.
The work and want to be there.
They want to be like, hey, we want to be like the police department.
Yeah.
We want to be a trendsetter. So
you are a trendsetter.
You are a trendsetter.
We tell Pappenthien that. It's crazy. I think I mispronounce his name all the time, so that's why I call him Pap.
Yeah. Or BPAP. That's what we call him.
Yeah.
That he's an influencer, essentially a city influencer. That's what we call ourselves.
Yeah.
Out of all the stuff we've done with y'all, what has been your favorite one? Other
There's
than
a
the
lot.
fall one. And it's been a lot. You might have to go through.
The one I probably chuckled at the most was 7 Brew coffee.
That also went viral.
That went pretty viral.
That has almost 500,000 views.
So I tagged Severn Brew thinking, man, if it gets, maybe it could go to corporate and maybe I could get a coupon for everybody.
Right.
Hasn't made it there. So Severn Brew, if you're watching, we're still waiting.
We love Severn Brew.
If you want to sponsor us for something, maybe free drinks for a week. We want to thank you so much, you and your department, because you guys are out there for each event, rain or shine.
Protecting our community too.
Yeah, and just out there. So before we go, I think Alina has one more question for you.
So at the end of every episode, we have something called insider information. So if you could share anything with the community right now, what would it be? It could be a safety tip, anything.
Probably what I'd like to share most is just getting involved with our community engagement office. We do the Citizens Police Academies. We do a level 1 and a level 2. We do the Junior Police Academies. So if you really want to know what your law enforcement agency is out doing, how we go about doing our job, then that's what I'd really encourage everybody to get involved in. Again, give a little bit of time back to your community to learn what we do. And I think that when you do that, you have a new appreciation for what it is we do on a daily basis. And we definitely have an appreciation for those that we're willing to kind of see things from our side. It's not always the glam, if you will. There's a lot of negative stuff that takes place, and our officers have to deal with that on a routine basis, and made them just see kind of where that side leads in the community, and probably see things you didn't realize actually took place in the community as well. So those are important programs that we have, and again, I'd say this is a great community to live in, to work in. It's a great community for our officers to be able to safeguard, and just really look forward to what we get to do with the citizens.
Yeah, I appreciate you and appreciate you coming out. For all that information that Chief just talked about, CPA, Citizens Police Academy, and even the Junior Police Academy as well, we're going to put a link on the bottom of the screen. Kevin's going to do that, right, Kevin?
Yeah.
Looking at him on the
He's
side.
nodding.
Well, Chief, thank you so much for coming out. Again, appreciate your department. And we appreciate you for listening to this podcast. This is Inside Saginaw Podcast. I'm Pedro, and
I'm Alina.
For all information about Saginaw, be sure to subscribe to our newsletter. It's a monthly electronic newsletter that's being sent out, and you can subscribe on our website down below.
Inside Saginaw newsletter.
Well, yeah. And thank you all again.
Yeah.
Cue the train noise.
See you next time.